Most people don't fail because their idea was bad. They fail because they waited too long to test it. They overthought, they overbuilt, and they tried to eliminate every possible risk before taking the next step. And by the time they finally launched, they were tired, broke, or emotionally attached to something that just wasn't working. Here's the mindset shift that changed everything for me. Your first job as an entrepreneur is not to be right, it's to learn quickly. And learning quickly means failing forward and failing fast. What does that mean? Failing forward doesn't mean being careless, mind you. It doesn't mean skipping thinking altogether. It just means understanding that clarity comes from motion, not perfection. You're not supposed to know everything before you start. You're supposed to learn by starting. Most of us are taught to research first, plan everything, make it airtight, then act. I am guilty of this, totally guilty. And sometimes I have to catch myself because I fall into that same routine. But in business, that order is backwards. You need enough information to move, not all of it. And for me, that's about 60 to 70% clarity. Once I'm there, I move because the remaining 30 to 40% only reveals itself once real people interact with the idea. So let's talk about the real goal of testing a business idea. When you test a business idea, you're not asking, is this perfect? Not at all. You're asking, do people understand it? Do they care? And are they willing to exchange money, time, or attention for it? That's it. That's all you're doing when you're testing a product or an idea. Testing is not about validation of you as a person, so take yourself out of it. It's all about just gathering information. And information is neutral. A no is not a failure, a no is just data. The most common entrepreneur mistakes that are made, this is the part where people lose a lot of money. They build the aesthetic of a business before they test the demand. I am a sucker for branding. I love branding. That is my favorite piece of working with businesses, quite honestly. It's the logos, the brand photos, the custom websites, the full launches, the pretty brand guides. I love all that stuff. But all before answering one critical question, does anyone actually want this? Whatever your this is, whether it's a service, whether it's a product, does anyone actually want it? A business idea is not proven because it sounds good. It's proven when someone takes action. That could be clicks, that could be replies, signups, purchases. Interest beats intention every time. So, how do you test an idea the right way? You start with the simplest possible version of whatever you're trying to sell, whether it's a service or a product. It's not the final version, it's not even the dream version. The version that lets someone say yes or no. That could look like a one-page description of the offer itself, a short email or DM explaining the concept, a basic landing page, a limited time pilot, a pre-sale. All of those things are great tests. You're not building for scale at this point. You're just building for feedback. Again, does anyone care about the thing that you're trying to do, the thing that you're trying to sell? You put it in front of real people and you just watch what happens. Because again, this is just a matter of feedback to see if your idea has merit and if this thing has legs. Once you put it in front of people, do they ask questions? Do they hesitate? Do they ghost you? Do they buy immediately? All of that is information. So let's talk about why speed matters. Most people fail slowly. They tweak instead of testing something. They polish instead of sell. They wait for confidence instead of creating the momentum they need. Failing fast means you don't sit with uncertainty for months. You pull the trigger, you act on it, you see what the feedback is, and you move. You don't pour money into unproven ideas. If it's not making you money, if you're not seeing promise within that test, move on. You don't build emotional attachment too early. All the different tests you're running, know the best way to get comfortable with that if you're uncomfortable with the idea is that everything will is bound to change. It is rare that you will nail it perfectly in your test, like the first go round. it's not going to happen. So just know when you're testing something, it will evolve, it will change because you will be getting more additional information from your customers as they're going through this test. And then you'll be improving upon your product or your service or optimizing it as you get additional feedback. So don't get emotionally attached because it will change. So you try, you observe, and you adjust. Fast feedback keeps you honest and keeps the momentum going. So let's talk about, again, what you actually need to start. If you looked at my prior video about starting a business, you heard about these things already, but I'm going to dive a little deeper into each of these. So I would say first thing you need to have is a clear offer, your product or your service. What are you helping with? Who is it for? What problem does it solve? You have to clearly be able to answer these questions and then also specific. It can't just be a generalized, I help business owners. There's so many different organizations that help business owners. Be more specific. If you can't explain it simply, it's just not ready to test. You have to go back to the drawing board. The second thing you need to test is, or you need when you're testing an idea, is a way to get paid or receive that commitment from your customer. Money is the strongest signal of interest. It truly is. When someone's putting money towards something, that is a firm yes. But even email signups can also be a signal of interest, or applications count as well. Interest without action, that's just politeness. People are just looking at your page or looking at your content, but they're not acting on it. And if they're not acting on it, it's just a matter of them checking it out, being polite and being nice about it. And the third thing that you need when you're testing your product or your service is, how does the person receive the thing? How do they receive the service that you're offering or the product that you're offering? So making sure you have that concrete and solid, that is important, especially when it comes to money, because I've seen so many different entrepreneurs when they're getting started. I think they'll have the first two things, and then especially if they gain traction on something, and it's mainly a physical product where I've seen this happen, but the demand takes off, but they haven't had this third place or this third piece in place, and all of a sudden they're flooded by demand, but they can't get the product out quick enough. And then there's bad customer service, bad customer reviews, and it hurts them in the end. So even if this is something that, again, this is a test, you want to make sure that you can deliver if there is a increase in demand, even though this is just a test. So step 3, do not overlook it. Please consider that when, especially if you are selling a product, a physical product. But that's it. No branding. It's not perfection. You're not trying to scale this. You're just testing. And that's all you need. And it's quick, easy, minimal amount of dollars committed. And the hidden benefit of failing fast. Here's what people don't talk about enough. Failing fast builds trust in yourself. You learn that you can recover, you can adapt, and you can pivot without spiraling, because it was such a low barrier to entry, such low effort, because you didn't spend all the money on all the branding, the logo, the website. It's okay if you have to pivot and adapt, and then you start trusting yourself with different things as well. You start trusting your decisions. You stop being afraid of starting because you know you're not locked in forever. That's the great thing about testing and failing fast and failing forward. Every test that you do, it sharpens your instincts. Every attempt improves your judgment. And eventually, you will get really good at spotting what's worth building and what isn't. It's just a matter of building that muscle of testing and refining your ideas. Oh, and that is actually, let me stop that. I'm making some protein brownies. We're going to see how those turn out. But anywho, build small, learn fast, adjust often. That's how sustainable businesses are actually created. Not by getting it perfect the first time, but just by being willing to move before they are ready. So that is all I have for you today. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if you'd like a further breakdown on any of this. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Monie, and I'm creating videos for those looking to redesign their life with intention. I talk about entrepreneurship, nonprofit leadership, navigating that 9-to-5 job, travel, dating, and all the in-between seasons that come with just building a life that is full. I've organized everything that I've been talking about into playlists. So if there's a topic that you're curious about, you can head over to my channel page and start there. If this kind of content resonates with you, I'd love for you to like, share, and subscribe. I post daily, so I'll be back here right here tomorrow. Until then, keep up the good work. Bye.